Hi, Dr. Saxena here, and today we'll be talking on something like what are the urgent measures, what are the things which have to be taken into when we are talking about how to maintain a good health. So this particularly thing I used to talk in a lot of my lectures and all that. There may be some kind of repetition, but I think this will be worth thing as it. We are the number one thing I will see this as sugar is the ultimate villain. Try to keep your eliminating sugar will help you keep you young as well as vital. That's the most important thing you need to take thing. And have not seen anything innocent thing. I used to talk about smoking is bad and all that. Yes, smoking is absolutely bad, but sugar is rather more bad than tobacco. This is kind of thing what we are trying to work on this integrative medicine protocol. So whereas see, I cannot think anything in the diet, and it is wrongly told it is the cholesterol, which is fats, which are causing in the diet, which is promoting the aging and all that. This is absolutely not true. It is only and only the sugar which is promoting the disease and aging as quickly. And when we go back to the history, the degenerative diseases were practically non-existent 200 years back. And there was in 1912 there was an article in JAMA, and this was told that it was cardiovascular disease was so rare that the research wasn't even conducted on it until 1912. Then the first study examined only 4 cases. After it's 1 century back, we never had this cardiovascular problems. So what has changed so dramatically between then and now to bring the devastating conditions like cardiovascular disease? I could see only change when there is a pollution. Okay, fine, but I can always tell you the habits, the what without the biggest change in the diets has been our sugar consumption. Once this agriculture thing has started, we started depending more on carbohydrates, more on this particular stuff. The more the refined carbohydrates, the more. So, unfortunately, our bodies didn't have the chance to gradually adapt to this relatively new substance in our diet. So, there were people who did some work. One was James Scala. He, at the end of 1700, sugar consumption was less than 20 pounds per person per year. And by the end of 18th century, sugar consumption has risen to about 63 pounds annually. 20 pounds to 63 pounds. Now, 100 years later, the average person eats minimum of 150 to 160 pounds of sugar each year. This is according to Dr. James Scala. The physical degeneration and diseases developed in those societies over a period of single generation once refined carbohydrate sugars were added to the diet. So I think the biggest villain is the sugar, and there is no need to. I think I can't. I always tell my patients to satisfy your sweet tooth with as much possible as with the nature intended. You can always go for the fruit sugars, sugar-rich natural fruits. Try to look into sweet vegetables, something like sweet potatoes and all. But what I can always tell you, keep out all this refined carbohydrates. If you are able to, your daily intake sugars, if you keep below 40 grams per day, I'm sure you will not get into any kind of problems. In case you have got some heart disease or you are into some diabetes or other stuffs, I sincerely advise you, any kind of problems, if you have cancer, obesity, diabetes, hypertension, you have heart disease, or you any type of immune dysfunction, keep this sugar intake to less than 20 grams per day. and see the things. Totally eliminate this white sugar. It has to be taken out totally. It is there has to be a national policy on that to remove that stuff. Use small amounts of natural sweeteners. I'm again and again emphasizing natural sweeteners, which is something like stevia or some date sugar, simple stuffs. It can be a rice syrup, it can be fruit juices as transitions away from this white sugar. Fruit juices or stevia or date sugar or some honey, pure honey, can be a good deterrent. So try as far as possible avoid these things called refined artificial sweetness. Artificial sweeteners doesn't do any good. They have an unpleasant side effects. They may also increase the cravings for the sweets, makes it harder to kick that sugar habit, and this is how we try to work on. These are the some of the optimal. We try to work on these adjunct measures, and this is my very first thing which I tell adjunct measure is try to look into sugar. And when we are talking about sugar, we should always we teach them what is this thing called glycemic index, how you can reduce your glycemic index. You can always, when you are talking about something on this thing, you can always reduce your glycemic index also of the foods by doing some methodologies, trying to mix lentils with rice, or you try to add some ghee or stuff to this particular thing. The combinations make the glycemic index less. So these are all the things which you are, we presume you start working on this before you come to us, go to a doctor. This is the integrity approach. Thank you.